Guys, it's John the Radar Williams here with some updates before we get underway, but this is going to be your episode of Wrestling News. So, first of all, I would like to announce that via coin flip, because you guys didn't really seem to get into putting the comments down below to vote, this is the shirt of the month. All June long. Polo. Anyways, got a new vid series coming out starting on Friday. I'm going to try to do it every Friday if I can. And that is going to be the Weird NJ series, where it's like it's kind of like Case Files in a way, just of all the weird places and things going on in New Jersey, whether they're abandoned or mythological or phenomenal or something along the lines of just anything weird, as Weird NJ would describe it of itself. So I'll be putting just a story out there, just from the website. You guys can go and see it too. It's pretty interesting. It's a good read. You should give it a look. It's a very good read. And so I'm going to be basically just putting out the story to it, and as a bonus add-on, basically. So that should be pretty cool, as there are now a new channel of these two guys, and their channel is called the Urbex Tapes. So go check them out as they adventure some of these places. They go out there and go actually take a look at them. And a little bit of an exclusive here, the very first episode you're going to see on here is about the Polinskoll Viaduct, which is a place they just visited recently. So again, go check them out. I'm going to put it down below in the description. The Urbex Tapes. Go check out their channel. They adventure some really cool stuff here in New Jersey, and hopefully they will continue to do so. They're very new, just as I am. So please, give them a look, because that's a very cool thing to go and do. But it's very brave too, very daring as well, as you could get in trouble in a certain sense. So I hope they are lucky enough and careful enough and nothing bad happens. So welcome to YouTube Urbex Tapes. And so that is the news drop right there. Just as a pre-update here to things, that there is another video series coming. Now you're probably wondering, for those of you who might have saw the last football news video, why I said there'd be news the next day, and there wasn't, because there literally was no hockey news. I'm sorry guys, but there's no decent news to report. Had to take the day. So if this does happen again, that is why a vid will not be out, is because there's just no sufficient enough news at the time. So if I ever miss a news day, whether it be wrestling, which I doubt, because there's always wrestling news, but football news or hockey news, or any other sports news I may do in the future, if there's a day where it's missing, it's because it's just not sufficient enough news that matters enough, really. So come Fridays from now on will hopefully be the Weird NJ Day, and Saturdays will still be college callbacks. Both I consider to be limited edition, because there's only so many college callbacks I can do, and there's got to be only so many weird things in Weird NJ. I mean, how weird can New Jersey be? Let's see, I've been here all my... Oh yes, very weird! I've been here all my life. New Jersey's very weird! So, I don't know if I can call it limited edition, but we'll see. It's a thing in of its own self, so that's where that's going. On to different news. So that's all the updates I think I've got for you for news not wrestling. Let's hop into the wrestling now. First of all, as we all know, NXT Takeover 25 happened, and it was very good. But it could have been better. But still very good. Very, very, very good. Started things off with Matt Riddle taking on Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong, the Messiah, the Backbreaker, and Matt Riddle, the original bro. Anyhow, I thought it was pretty cool how Matt Riddle came in and flicked off both his shoes right at Roderick Strong. That was pretty unique. I'd never seen anything like that. That's not very typical of most wrestlers. Quite an interesting, innovative way to show a little disrespect towards your opponent. And their match in general was a lot of pain on the back. Just so much pain. And the best thing about that match was all the strikes they were delivering was just brutal. I think it may have been the most brutal match out of all the singles matches on the night. No doubt the ladder match by far took the cake as match of the night. I'm sorry, Cole and Gargano, but you didn't really have the rapid firepower I was looking for till like the last 2 to 5 minutes. I was expecting a little better. That match could have been better, but it was obviously a very good match still. High quality, definitely like a 4-star match. I wouldn't say 5 stars. Heck, I wouldn't even say the ladder match was 5 stars because some of the guys in there were slacking, but I'd at least say it was more like a 4.5. Just like a small step better than the main event was. But going back to Matt Riddle and Roderick Strong, they had a very solid match. Very solid match. But it was fortunate that Matt Riddle won because it's very fortunate because it sets him up now for pretty much a shot at the North American title. But hey, things happen in between now and then, so you never know. But it is unfortunate as well that that was for nothing, because that match was so good. They were connecting very hard moves on each other. Now, aside from that match, then we also had the tag titles match. You had the Street Profits, the Forgotten Sons, Undisputed Era, and you also had Burch and Lorcan. 4 different teams, and from Undisputed Era, it was O'Reilly and Fish, just to be, notifiable on that for all those who are not in the know of that, who didn't see. And Riker was actually in the match for Forgotten Sons, but he came in later on to just lay everyone out and destroy everybody, and then they finally just took a ladder, got fed up with him, and just beat him down like a bug who wouldn't stay down. Then he was out, skinned the cat. There he goes, and then they just keep trying to take him down. Keep him down. Just keep him down. Really, after a while, I started to realize Riker, or formerly known as Gunner, from Impact in the past, really all he was ever good at was just deliver a big boot, some variation of backbreakers, botch a choke slam, and just take a beating and getting back up and taking... Oh, and there's the spear, of course. And then just take another beating and get back... take another beating and get back up. He just doesn't sell enough. He sells for a minute, gets back up. Sells for a minute, gets back up. Sells for a minute, gets back up. But he delivers a small variety of moves and even botches them in general, so I'm not very impressed. So anyways, winners of that match would go on to be the Street Profits, Montez Ford, pulling off the springboard jump onto the ladder to punch one of the Forgotten Sons off the ladder. He tried to grab for it, and then he lost balance and fell down, and Ford just grabbed the titles down, and they won. I found that to be a great ending for them, but I felt like both Forgotten Sons and Street Profits kind of slacked in that match. More than anybody, the Street Profits really didn't deserve it. They slacked the hardest. I mean, Montez Ford, at one point when they were all outside fighting, he was laying down over there, doing nothing, and he hadn't even been touched in like 5 minutes with any severe moves at all throughout the match, really. Why are you just laying there? Get up! Like, he was selling way too hard. So, basically, I thought that was a little undeserving for them to win like that, but all in all, I hope they go far with the titles and get more time to show off more moves and show that they are worth it, because if not, it feels like some kind of big waste and it's unfortunate. So, best of luck to them there. I'd actually like to see them face Heavy Machinery over it. That would be kind of cool, but I doubt that's going to happen. But who knows? I still wouldn't mind seeing them face any one of those other teams that were in that match in a 2-on-2 fashion. Just 2 teams this time. Anyways, there also was the North American title match between Breeze and Dream. I felt like that match was a lot of twisting and countering of moves, and that to me felt like it was kind of one of the shorter matches on the night too, in a way. I just wasn't a very big fan of that match entirely until it started getting more towards the end again, kind of like the main event. I felt the same way about that match too. Both the main event and... So basically, yeah, both the singles male title matches, I didn't like that much. Because when it came down to the match, it didn't get good enough till near the end. It wasn't solidly consistent all the way through like the ladder match pretty much was, or like Riddle versus Roderick Strong was, or like Baszler and Shirai was. That was consistent all the way through, amazing matches, all three of those. But those other two matches, not amazing enough. Not terrible either. Still both good enough matches in their own regard, but not amazing enough. And then, I think I do like the ending, though. It shows a possibility that maybe Dream and Breeze can become friends. And no longer have to be enemies. As you saw, they did a little bit of a selfie together. So, a friendie? They did a friendie? A friend of me? They're kind of like friends, enemies? I don't know. We'll work on it. We'll work on it, guys. Friend of me, friendie. Y'all figure that out. Anyways. So then there was also the Genius of the Sky, Io Shirai, and Shayna Baszler taking each other on for the NXT Women's title. And that match was, like I said, very consistent all the way through. I was very impressed, loved the match. Candice LeRae even come out there and smack Shayna Baszler's henchwoman with the kendo stick, and that was pretty cool. She smacked him to smithereens so hard she broke the thing. Alright? She snapped. Did what she had to do. And even harsher, Io Shirai snapped after the match when she got choked out. That's right, Io Shirai tapped, Shayna Baszler retained. So, oh, and also to mention, back to Dream and Breeze, Dream retained. Just to let people know here. But yeah, Shayna Baszler retained by tapping out Io Shirai, but as you saw her turn over after the match, beating that she suffered at the hands of Io Shirai, she had welts on her back from that kendo stick. And speaking of welts on the back, Kyle O'Reilly got beat to bits in that ladder match. Beat to bits, bro. So beat. You know how beat? He got so beat, he had his back bleeding. I think he was also bleeding the mouth a little bit. Also, which reminds me, Tyler Breeze was bleeding from the ear in his match. Quite a lot of blood on the night. But the funny part is, between Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, when they were in that match, Fish actually ends up with the one who might be out for a while soon, as he injured his arm. I believe it was the left one, if I recall correctly, seeing him in the post-match celebration with the rest of Undisputed Era as Adam Cole, baby, won the NXT World title. He beat Johnny Gargano, Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Champion, Johnny Loser, as I'll be calling him now, because Adam Cole is the champion. That's all you need to know about that, because that's what matters. Undisputed Era is bringing home all the gold. Anyhow, we got some news on the side here about the upcoming episode of Raw. The Undertaker is due to return, to hype up his Super Showdown match with Goldberg. Lesnar is supposed to cash in some point in the near future, I think this Raw, or at least it's being announced for another Raw. Not completely sure on that, but from what I believe, if that already happened, maybe he is cashing tonight. I must have missed out on that. But Lesnar, we know he's cashing in soon, and he's coming for Rollins, we assume. Anyhow, Mysterio could be dropping the U.S. title because he's hurt. You know what that means? He has 7 surgery on his left knee. I had to. Alright, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go now. Alright, no, I'm kidding. I'm not done yet. So we got more news. Reigns and Usos are going to have a tag match. That's right, all the NOIs teaming up against Drew McIntyre and the Revival. So a 6-man tag will be taking place on Raw tonight, as well as Lacey Evans continues her feud with Becky Lynch. And R-Truth lost his title on a golf course to Jinder Mahal, the 24/7 title, and immediately won it back. So R-Truth is still the 24/7 champion. Also, some more news. Ric Flair has had some choice words about who would be on his Rushmore Mountain. Apparently, obviously, himself. Also, Hulk Hogan. I mean, that's a given. Could predict that. Also, Stone Cold. And The Undertaker. Also, he said that he would, if ever, come out of retirement, it would be for one guy that he would want to wrestle, and that would be Roman Reigns, but only if he was like 35 or 40. And they couldn't pay him enough, so who cares? Apparently it's all irrelevant. So yeah, Flair, you keep drinking that juice, alright? You sit back on that cough syrup, you crazy old man. But yeah, you're awesome. I'll give you that. So then, final piece of news here, Conan, as in K Diggity Dog, Conan from LAX and OGs and all that stuff. Famous Technicos, Rudos, Luchador Rivalry, Mastermind. He is actually quite the fan of Brian Pillman Jr. and MJF. And actually he grew up with being around Brian Pillman Jr.'s dad, Brian Pillman, well, Sr., obviously, at the time, and knew that he was quite the jokester, and he was also very impressed by his son Brian Pillman Jr. getting to know him, as he actually takes notes, unlike most wrestlers, when he's giving him advice and telling him what he should need to do. So that's interesting to hear about Brian Pillman Jr., very articulate guy about his wrestling, very careful. A little insider fact there from Conan. And he was also talking about remembering seeing Silver King as one of the two young guys growing up that were allowed to actually wrestle in the big scene, whereas it was all veteran luchadors usually. It was just Silver King and Eddie Guerrero for young guys. It was all there was for the big scene, because they were that good. So it is really sad Silver King has passed away, and I'm sure Dr. Wagner Jr. somewhere mourning the loss of his brother as much as they've had the rivalry over the years. It really is unfortunate. So, sorry, Silver King, that you walked out looking on the bad side of things as a villain for quite some time, but you gave us great memories. You did. That is all I got for you guys here today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next day or two if there is sufficient enough news for football news tomorrow and hockey news the next day. Again, that's if. If not, I'll definitely see you Friday for Weird MJ. And remember, again, down in the description, go check out the Urbex Tapes. You'll find tons of good footage of exploration down there to go and check out. They're pretty awesome. I've enjoyed the time watching them. Hit them up with a subscription. Hit them up with a like. Hit them up with a comment. Hopefully you'd like to do the same here. And hopefully you are enjoying the shirt of the month. See you next time, guys. Goodbye.